24 hours after the opposition accused the Interior Minister of falsifying the draft law of the Penal Code, the SP MP Vasilika Hysi denied any wrongdoing, saying the draft law presented to the Commission was the same that was voted on by Parliament. A Dutch newspaper has dedicated an article on Albania's integration to the EU, expressing concern over recent developments, however concluding that the delegation's visit has been useful. Dibra Street has been completely transformed, with dedicated bicycle lanes being created for the citizens. Mayor of Tirana, Erion Veliai, said the investments will continue in every neighbourhood. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Friday the 11th of May 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. In a 16-point response, feeling sorry for the opposition's attacks on the Interior Minister Fatmir Jafai, the Socialist Party MP Vasilika Hysi announced that the draft law on the Penal Code has been processed by justice reform experts. Hysi argued that the draft law voted by the committee was the same as that voted at the plenary session, denying that it had been forged. The draft law was subject to public consultation with field experts. This is the practice that is followed for every draft law. Their suggestions and remarks were reflected in every article for which they had them. So the Commission voted on the version which is in force, it was written in Hysi's response. Regarding point F of Article 491, which prohibits extradition without being assured that the state that seeks it gives guarantees of a retrial, MP Hysi says that it is in accordance with the Extradition Convention. The article that is the next opposition cause is a reflection of the Extradition Convention, it was written in Hysi's response. For Hysi, the opposition has had all the time to study the draft law before being approved by the Commission, but chose to attack in this period after the resignation of Saimir Tahiri overturned their cause. Why didn't the opposition raise this problem over 1 year ago? Why raise it right now when the justice reform has begun to see results and the former colleague Tahiri did not give the opposition the chance to continue to have him as a cause? Jafai would certainly be an object of attack, there was no doubt for this. The justice reform has shaken many foundations and has endangered many interests and people who are related to illegal interests, it was also written in Hysi's response. In conclusion, the MP of the majority called the accusations of the opposition harmful in the case where the latter are not informed with parliamentary practice and have not participated in the discussion of the draft law. The SMI, unlike the DP, has been in the hall when the Penal Code was voted upon and even voted for it. But more than a year since its adoption and facing a situation when the DP has filed a charge against Minister Fatmir Jafai, the Socialist Movement for Integration has requested the abolition of Article 491 of the Penal Code. For the head of the SMI parliamentary group, Petrit Vasili, the prosecution must urgently launch an investigation. The SMI clearly defines that the best and most definitive stand would be the immediate suspension of this article, to sit at the table to determine new definitions and return the code into an instrument of war against organised crime, said Petrit Vasili. The article, and specifically point F, has been read by the opposition as a means for Fatmir Jafai to legally protect his brother, done so by forging the documents. Vasili demanded that work be done to revise the article and be launched on Monday. The issue should begin by Monday. That means the revision of this article and reformulation in accordance with the objectives of the war against traffickers, which have become an absolutely fundamental risk for Albania's stability and public safety, said Petrit Vasili. The DP were not present at the time this article was voted on, while the SMI did in fact vote for the draft law. At that time, Petrit Vasili held the office as the Minister of Justice. The visit of the Dutch delegation to Albania has also been covered significantly by their local press. The biggest Dutch daily, De Telegraaf, has reflected the scepticism of Amsterdam's political class regarding the start of Albania's membership negotiations. According to De Telegraaf, the Dutch delegation is concerned by the latest developments in Albania. The daily calls the dismissal of prosecutor Besim Haidar-Matai and non-extradition of Minister Fatmir Jafai's brother as some sources of major concern for the Netherlands. However, the Daily concludes that the visit of the delegation has been useful, as the questions raised have put Albania to work. This was the situation found at the new fishing port this morning. Fishermen were the ones who raised the alarm over the repeated situation within the water basin of the new fishing port. When the cameras weren't rolling, they said that the oil and waste were thrown into the harbour. The pollution is suspected of being caused by one of the fishing fleet boats that has been partially displaced here since last November. Despite the situation, no one is responsible, as this port still remains unmanaged due to legal bureaucracies. The alarming ecological situation for which the Fishery Management Organisation raised the concern days ago has not yet resulted with any intervention. Being without an administrator has left the new fishing port out of the surveillance of environmental structures. The water basin of the fishing port was massively polluted even earlier by the spills of hydrocarbons at the sea, but also by other waste. Boxes, plastic bottles, various cans and a lot of other waste products were spread across the entire water surface. Ora News sources said the Environmental Inspectorate near the port of Durrës are expected to launch an investigation to reveal the polluters, with uncovered evidence to be sent to the prosecution. The new fishing port, an investment that has caused much debate since 2012, continues to remain in search of management. This is the new look of Dibra Street, which has not only been intervened by reconstructing it, but also by adding a lane dedicated to bicycles. Mayor Veliaj said the works were closed in record time, while the promotion of travelling by bicycle was also an aim. There is another entrance of Tirana which has now been completely renovated and gives the message to people that here there is another quality of doing work. There is cleanliness, hygiene and order. Despite the fact that we had an extraordinary season with rains, we managed to finish the work in record time, even with bicycle lanes. Throughout this summer, we will promote the movement with bicycles, and I believe that this is a good day for Albania and our Tirana, said Erion Veliaj. Veliaj said that the municipality will continue to intervene with investments in every neighbourhood of the city, while promising that they will work with more energy in the next mandate. We will continue investing in all residential blocks. We will do a final boost this last year of our mandate to make sure that this 4-year time covered major emergencies for Tirana, and then in the next mandate we will continue with more power and energy for the Tirana of our dreams, said Erion Veliaj. Along with works on the Dibra Road, the municipality of Tirana also worked on the realisation of the project of rehabilitating the facades of public buildings. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for our latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.